Okay, great, great, great. I have shared the form link. Please fill it out. And in the meanwhile, I'll just start with the slides which I have prepared for you guys. Okay, which is based on what we'll be discussing today. Okay, so okay. Uh, let me know if you can see my screen. Wait, wait. I'm not sure whether you are able to see my screen. Wait, I'll just share my screen. Hmm. Okay, great. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Yeah, form link I have sent guys already in the chat. I'll send it again. Yep. Okay, I guess it is paused now. Wait, I'll just adjust one thing. Just give me 1 minute. Oops, wait. I guess just give me 1 minute, guys. I'm setting up just my screen. Mhm. Okay, this is okay. Can I open? Hmm. Okay, cool. I'll just share my screen now. Okay. First, unlock your phone. Sorry. Update your lock screen. Great. I guess some Google Assistant. Okay, I guess you can see my screen, right? Great. So, yep. The very first thing which I wanted to tell you, I'm not sure why it is not coming like this. Just give me 1 minute. My bad. Why this is causing issues, man? Not at this. Okay, sorry. Hmm. Okay. I hope it is visible now. Great. Sorry for that. Okay. So yeah, I hope my screen is visible. Great. So yeah, first of all, hello everyone. So yeah, in this particular thing, we'll be discussing about, you can say, some of the chatbots which are very much popular in the market. You know about ChatGPT, you know about Alexa, you know about Siri. Okay, you know about like these chatbots. Okay, we'll be discussing on that. Okay, but yeah, like before moving, just wanted to let you know, just a bit about the insights. Okay, so you know that the job market is already changing, right? And it has changed a lot. Okay, and the thing is that AI is like already used, yeah, now being used in most of the companies. Okay, and there's a very good stat which I wanted to mention you, that LinkedIn actually released one stat where they are saying that they have seen a spike of approximately like close to 400% in the AI specific job roles in the market. Okay, so the thing is that you know that the regular SDE hiring might get, you can say, a little bit reduced, but lot of hiring related to Gen AI has been increased. That's one thing, okay, which you have already seen in the current market scenario. Okay, and the thing is that, but still, the thing is that there are a lot of people, those who just know how to use AI. Okay, but the thing is they don't know about, you can say, how in-depth AI works and all those things. So that's one thing that can give you an edge, that if you know about AI and if you know these knowledge specifics to AI, you would be able to crack those specific interviews. So just wanted to let you know. So that's what the basically the importance is. And so the thing is that you need to, like, AI is basically the need of the hour. Okay, and you need to learn AI. Otherwise, obviously, you know that there are a lot of layoffs which has happened since 2022, not 2023. You can say Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, a lot of companies have done layoffs, right? So that's one thing, that if you are upskilled more in the latest technologies in this particular field in the AI, then it will be good for you. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, cool. So yeah, so this is just a sort of a, you can say, what I mentioned is that the industry demand and the role surge. So you can see that Gen AI is expected to grow from 37.89 billion in 2025 to 1,000 billion specifically, okay, in 2034. Okay, and yes, it will give a lot of boost to the global economy as well. Okay, and you might be knowing that many countries are now supporting AI. Maybe I guess you know that in Dubai, I guess specifically, the government has made AI, a chat GPT, free for them. Okay, so that's what the importance of AI is now these days. Okay, that it's being used by not only by the technical people, but you can say people throughout across all domains. Okay, whether it is non-tech, any specific role in non-tech, or any specific role in tech. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay. And yeah, one more thing is that what like basically where developers are heading. So let's say if you're a standard developer, so what all things you have for you where you can go in the AI field. So you can see that there are a lot of roles, first of all. Like even in full stack developer, you can if you have the Gen AI capabilities, you can make a good full Gen AI application. Okay, you can be you can say Gen AI engineer, AI research engineer. You know that there is a prompt engineer role as well now these days. Okay, so there are a lot of roles. Okay, which are being, you can say, which are like regularly being hired. Okay, so you can even look for these roles if you are struggling to, let's say, go for a standard SD role, you're finding some issue. Okay, so yeah, let's start with this now. The main, you can say, the thing which I want to tell you. Okay, so let's see that what actually conversational AI is. Okay, so at a very basic level. Okay, so it refers to you can say AI system that can engage in human like dialogue. Okay, either through text or video. So I'm talking about the conversational AI. Basically, you can say you can say to whom you are interacting to, sort of a chatbot thing, you can understand. And you can like the Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, Chat GPT, and everything are the example of that. Okay, and the thing is that what makes this AI powerful is that the ability to enable natural interactions. Basically, you can just directly interact with the AI and get the information. Okay, and yes, that impact of this technology is really huge. It has the level, and one good part is, maybe you might be seeing, is that there are a lot of customer supports. Maybe I guess you might be using Swiggy these days. Okay, so if you can see in the Swiggy now, if you go to customer support, you see that they have specifically mentioned that they have enabled an AI bot on their side for the customer support. And if some solution which is not being you can say catered by that particular AI bot, then it gets escalated to the you can say the actual customer support. But at most of the times, in most of the cases, maybe like you can say 70-80% of the cases, these things has been resolved by AI, specifically in the customer support journey, which I wanted to say. Because they can resolve the solutions quickly, they can reply quickly. Okay, and they can give answers to some common issues which are being faced by the Swiggy users, like the delivery guy is not answering the call, or maybe like the delivery is getting late, something like that. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, and the next thing is that okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is one particular thing. Now comes a bit of a technical thing here, that let's talk about the architecture of these chatbots and voice assistants. Okay, so chatbots are basically, you can say, or voice assistant. I have given the example. Okay, so you can say that this is sort of an example which I have given you. So basically, when you interact with the chatbot, okay, it just you can say uh, goes to the speech recognition first of all, and then it is recognized as a speech. Then there's a component called NLU, which is natural language understanding. Then there is a dialogue manager, task manager, natural language generation, and text to speech synthesis. So these are some components, and I'll cover each and every component. You can say one by one. Don't worry. Okay. And if yeah, and the next thing, let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So now let's see what all components are there. Okay, so let's start with the first component, which is natural language understanding, which was NLU. Okay, I hope that you might be aware about this particular term. Okay, so basically this is the part that reads or listen to what the user says, okay, and tries to make a sense of it. So basically it breaks down your input, okay, to identify what the user intent is. Okay, so basically let's say what the user is trying to say, basically. Okay, where basically the user is trying to say to book a ticket or check the weather or tell me the traffic, something like that. So basically it extracts the important entities from the particular you can say the interaction of the user. Basically that's why it is known as natural language understanding. Okay, so the next part is your dialogue manager. Okay, so I guess the very first part was speech recognition. I guess speech recognition everyone knows, it's just basically like some speech to text conversion. Okay, basically whatever you speak, it is first of all converted into text, and that text is sent to the natural language understanding processor, which actually understands your actual intent, what you are trying to say. Okay, and then that particular intent is passed to the dialogue manager, if you can see. Okay, now the dialogue manager. Okay, next, the dialogue manager, what it does is that basically it like it's called sort of a brain, okay, of the system. So basically it just keeps track of the ongoing conversation. Okay, so basically what I have been what's been said so far, and it will make the decision based on that, basically. So basically obviously if you interact with, let's say, even if you interact with, let's say, Google Assistant, or let's say Siri. Okay, so Siri knows the conversations what you have done in that particular time frame. So let's say you have started some conversation, and then you are continuously asking some questions. So that dialogue manager is actually very much responsible. Okay, it is actually very much responsible to, you can say, uh, you can say, read the past context and then give you the sort of a response. Okay, so that is one particular thing. Okay, and the next, I guess, which I gave you the idea was, I guess it was about the task manager. So task manager is like basically whatever task you need to do. Maybe you have asked to check the weather. Okay, so then the dialogue manager will hand over the task to the task manager. Okay, and it will, you can say, get you the actual details, what the task you want to do, and then it will give you back the response. Okay, and once you have got the response to the dialogue manager, then it goes to the natural language generation. So let's see what's the natural language generation is. So once the decision is made, the natural language generation takes over. So basically this component constructs the response in actual human language, basically. So you know that so let's say you have got the response in some sort of a JSON from the you can say on some sort of a file or something like that. In some sort of a variable you have got the response, okay, from the dialogue manager. Then your natural language generation is responsible for, let's say, generate it back to the human language and give it back. So basically, so that's one thing. So, and that's a basic about, you can say, which I wanted to give you. Okay, so basically, if let's say the bot needs to perform a real world action like actually booking a ticket, and let's say if you have a smart light at your home, you want to turn on a smart light, it connects to some external system, which I talked about. So basically your dialogue manager calls that particular API, okay, and handles that particular event. Okay, so maybe let's say if you have a smart bulb at your system and you have Alexa, so what you will do is you will tell the Alexa a command. So Alexa will first of all convert it into text. It will understand that, it will send to the dialogue manager. Dialogue manager is responsible for connecting to the external APIs, okay, that task manager. Okay, it will do that particular interaction or get some information, and then it will pass back the result to the generation. And then your text to speech is converted if you have a Siri, or if you have a Google Assistant, if you have a Alexa. But if it's like chat GPT only, then it will just be sent back as a text, nothing else. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay. And yeah, if I give you some of the specifics of the voice assistant, like what all things are used in the voice assistant. So the very first thing is automatic speech recognition, which is known as ASR. Okay. And so basically, this takes your spoken words captured through a microphone and converts them into text. Plain simple thing. Okay. So you can say that. So this is basically sort of an entry point for a voice assistant. Okay. And the thing is that behind the scenes, companies like Amazon, Apple use sophisticated models for this, some cloud based and other processed directly on the device for speed and privacy. Okay. And on the other, once the system understands your speech and formulates a response, then when it then we need to turn that text back to into the spoken audio. That's where text to speech comes, basically, like the component when you talk back to in a human voice, okay, the assistant. So, and you would be so there's a wake word, that for Siri you say that, okay, the wake word is hey Siri, or Google, that you say, okay Google, something like that. Okay, so Alexa, okay, say you can say Alexa, just, okay, something like that. So that's a sort of a wake word what we say. Okay, so I hope this part, I guess my you can see the example, like my phone also got wake up. Okay, so that's the example of the wake word. Okay, so yeah, now let's move on to the next part. I want to talk to you about the natural language processing thing, NLP thing. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Any doubts till now? I know there are few. I know that you might be thinking, okay, these are very much basic topics, but I'll come to few more important topics just a few minutes later. I'm just setting up the context now. Okay, so yeah, any if you have any issues, if you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat. I'll try to answer that. Okay. Cool, cool. So now, yeah, let's see what is natural language processing. I guess I have already told you about different components. Okay, so basically, NLP is the field of AI, okay, that focuses on enabling the machines to understand and generate human language. Okay, and every chatbot, every now AI model uses it. Okay, so basically, the thing is that first, the very first component is NLU, which is about understanding. So see, in NLP, there are a few components. First of all, is NLU. Okay, so this is about interpreting the user's input. Okay, so for example, if someone says book me a flight tomorrow, the system should recognize the intent is to book flight and extract relevant entities. Okay, and all those things. Okay, and then next is your you can say NLG, which is known as natural language generation. Okay, and once the system knows how to respond, it needs to put that into words. Okay, and this could be something simple and templated, like your flight is booked, or it might be involve a more flexible thing. Okay, so that's called NLG, which is called natural language generation. And the next is your dialogue component, which I told you was manager. So dialogue manager is like this handles the flow of conversation by managing the context, basically, because if someone says you, okay, that okay, first of all, I say, let's say, book a flight for me for tomorrow, let's say from Bangalore to Delhi, let's say. Okay, so my bot has booked the flight. Now I want to say, okay, cancel that particular flight. So the bot needs to know the context, right? What it has already done. So that is actually done by this particular thing. Okay, so basically, I hope you got the idea, okay, about this particular thing. And yeah, so that's what about the dialogue or context handling is. Okay, cool. Yeah, now let's come to the next part, which is automatic speech recognition. Okay, I guess so basically it's just like your spoken audio is converted to text. Okay, and it's used everywhere in your all those chatbots, voice chatbots. Okay, nothing new in that. Okay, now let's come to the next thing, which is called LLMs. Okay, which are, I guess, very much trendy in these days. So first of all, what are LLMs? So you know that LLMs are a very, first of all, a massive neural network models. Okay, so and it is based on a transformer architecture, first of all, and we'll talk about what are transformers. Don't worry. Okay, so basically, obviously, they are trained on enormous volumes of text. Okay, or enormous volumes of text data. A lot of data is fed into the, you can say, GPT, or into the LLM, in which they get trained, and that's why they are able to respond, give you the answer in various domains. Okay, so that's what the LLM is, and the idea is simple but powerful, that they learn to predict the next word in a sentence, and from that they develop a deep understanding of language patterns. Okay, and it's obviously like some well-known examples are like, that GPT-3, GPT-4, a lot of things are there. Okay, And these models have a lot of parameters. First of all, these models have billions of parameters, which allows them to perform a wide range of language tasks like answering questions, writing content, doing some research. LLMs specifically, we often use one model, okay, that can do both end to end. And ChatGPT is like one of the great example for that. Okay, and all of this is made possible by the transformer architecture. Okay, so transformer architecture is very much important to understand. I'll let you know some of the things about the transformer architecture in the next slide. Okay, which will talk about more. Okay, and basically it uses a mechanism called self attention. Okay, that allows the model to focus on the most relevant parts of the input when generating response. Okay, so I will talk about this later. Just understand that GPT is based on transformer architecture. Okay, and it uses something called self attention. Okay, so yep, the next thing. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about what is transformers and self-attention. So actually transformers were introduced in 2017. Okay, so there was a research paper which was titled as Attention is All You Need. Okay, and since then they have become the foundation of the model NLP models like BERT, GPT and Chat GPT and all those. Okay, so here's the core idea. So let's understand. So traditional models like RNNs, you can say recurrent neural networks, they used to read words one at a time. Okay, so basically they used to read one word at a time. Okay, like reading a sentence word by word. Let's understand in this way. Okay, so RNN was doing what? They used to like read one word at a time in a sentence. Okay, but transformers don't do that. Okay, so they look at the entire sentence at once. Okay, and decide which words are most important to focus on, and that is called self attention. So basically transformers, what they do is, so they'll just, you can say, pick the whole sentence. Okay, convert it into whatever like tokens and all, and then they will figure it out. Okay, what all things are important in this particular sentence, and that is called self attention, that it is able to give attention on its own. Okay, so yeah, so let me give you an example. So in the sentence, let's say Alice went to town and she bought milk, let's say. So basically a transformer can understand that she refers to Alice. Okay, even though there are different sentence. So let's say there are two sentences: Alice went to town, she bought milk. But the transformer would be able to understand the she is referring to Alice. Okay, so basically the thing is that, so it learn these connections through self attention scores. Okay, basically which assign importance weights between words. Okay, so in a brief, if I give you an idea, just one, the self attention is that it just understands, okay, that in this particular whole sentence, this particular word refers to Alice and whatever the context of the sentence is. Okay, and it doesn't stops there. Okay, transformers use something called multi-head self-attention as well. Okay, so you can say where multiple attention heads look at different relationships simultaneously, like one head focusing on subject verb agreement, another on pronouns, etc. So basically they don't have only, like, you can say, one self-attention. Okay, that they're only giving attention on one particular thing. They are giving attentions on different things at a particular time. Okay, so that's why they are called like multi-head self-attention. Okay, and you can say that these attentions layers are stacked, so each layer improves the understanding from the previous one. Okay, and the model refines how much word relates to every other word in the sequence across multiple levels. Okay, and the thing is that the transformers are not recurrent, like they don't loop through tokens. Okay, that means that they can be parallelized, and obviously it makes them faster to train, and it can handle long text and conversations. Okay, and in Chat GPT, the T is stands for transformer only. Okay, so that's what a basic idea about transformer is. I know that uh like this thing is actually tough to understand, okay, in this very much short class, but just wanted to give an idea that that this LM actually uses transformer architecture, okay, which is which actually uses self attention, okay. And with the help of that, they are able to, you can say, read more things in a parallel way, rather than because recurrent neural network is like they go one word one by one, one by one, one by one, so it's sort of a loop. But when you are doing this with a multi-head attentions, okay, you can look at different components of text in a parallel way, okay, which obviously it's better to handle long text and conversations. That's one thing. Cool. I know it's a bit overwhelming, but yeah, don't worry. Yeah. So let's see like a bit like how this chat GPT thing works, and then we will come to different topics as well. Yeah. Fine. Cool. So yeah, now the thing is that let's now you can say demystify the technology, like yeah, let's now take a peek into this particular thing of what is like chat gpt. So in chat gpt, yeah, wait, I guess, yeah, in chat gpt, gpt stands for generative pre-trained transformer, okay. So you can say the earlier version you may have been used was gpt 3.5, while newer versions run on gpt 4. And you can say that you can think of it like a highly trained brain that can generate natural language response to almost anything you ask, okay. And the first step when you send a message to ChatGPT or to a model is called tokenization, which happens. And what is tokenizations? So this is where your sentence gets broken down into small units called tokens. Okay. So obviously, whenever you're writing a text, it is not perceived directly. It is broken into tokens. And a token might be a word, a part of a word, or even a single character. So something like, let's say, chat GPT might be split into chat or GPT or into even smaller chunks depending upon the tokenizer. So there are like a lot of tokenizers, so it depends what tokenizer you are using. And then these tokenizers are converted into numbers which actually model understands. So obviously, like, the model doesn't understand this English language, right? It needs to get some numbers to feed into the neural networks, right, to get train or to give response. So that's what tokenizer do. So basically, it converts your, you can say, words into tokens and then into vector embeddings, which get fed into the, you can say, these networks. So that's one thing. And there's actually one more important thing which I want to tell you, that these models have a thing called context window. Okay, which is, you can say, the maximum number of tokens you can put, the model can consider at once. So obviously, uh, if you give more context to the model, okay, it will take more time to give you the response, okay. And so that's why there is a limit on the total number of tokens which you can give to a particular model, right? So there will be a sort of a limit that you can't go beyond this number of words, because the model can't process more number of tokens. And if you give more number of tokens, it will either truncate some the left side of the prompt, or you can say the right side of the prompt, okay, depending upon what setting we have done, okay. So a fixed number of words needs to be given, and depending upon the tokens, you are even priced as well. So maybe if you see the chat gpt api, okay, you will see that you are priced on the basis of token access, like how many tokens you are sending to that particular model. Amount that much on that particular you can say amount of tokens, you would be actually you can say billed. So let's say there might be a price of, let's say, someone in, let's say, chat gpt is offering like let's say 1 million token for, let's say, $2, let's say 10 million token for, let's say, $10, something like that. So it's sort of a, you can say, a pricing based on the tokens only. So that's why you can say this token is very much important. And basically gpt 3.5 can handle only about 4,000 tokens, and gpt 4 can go up to 32K tokens as well, because it's a more developed model, okay. So that's one thing. And that's what I told, like, that once the conversation exceeds this limit, the model starts forgetting earlier parts. And that's why in long chats you might notice that it lose track of the messages what you have said in the previous way, right? So you need to take care of that, okay. So while using chat gpt, it feels very smart, but it has a limited short time memory, okay. So because you can't put anything very much long in the context and get the response. Cool. So these are some sort of technical things which I can discuss. Okay. So let's see. I'll try to cover it in brief. Okay. So yeah, the thing which I want to tell you, yeah. So let's see. Let's say once the tokenization is done. Okay. So as I told you, the very first step in the GPT was tokenization. The next thing is embedding and positional encoding. So basically, you can say that first, each token, remember, these are just chunks of text. Okay, is converted into a numeric vector called embedding. Okay, and think of this as a way for the model to understand the meaning of each token in a mathematical form. So whatever token you have got, you have converted a vector embedding for that, and that gets feed to the neural network basically. And then we add positional encoding because transformers don't naturally understand word order. So for the example, in the sentence, let's say I love pizza, the model needs to know that I comes before love and that pizza comes last. So positional encoding gives its awareness of sequence. So basically, let's say you have got the tokens. Okay, you have converted into the vector, then you provide the positional encoding that okay, in this way the model should understand. Okay. Now the thing is that decoder layers and self-attention, I guess. So I hope so basically the next the data goes to multiple decoders layers. GPT-3 for instance has 96 of these layers. So each layers use self-attention, okay, which means that every token can look at all tokens that came before it and decide what's important. For example, the cat sat on the mat, it was fluffy, let's say, the model figures out it refers to the cat by comparing tokens across sentence. So then each layer transform this context into you can say feed forward neural network to learn even deeper patterns, and this happens repeatedly layer by layer. Okay, so this is one thing, and the next thing is casual masking. So basically now here's the crucial point: ChatGPT is a decoder only model. Okay, that means it is designed to generate text one token at a time. Okay, so to train it to do this, it uses casual masking, which this ensures that each token can only attend to previous token, not the future. Okay, so when generating a sentence, it can't look ahead like a human writing one word at a time without knowing what comes next, basically. Okay, so the final output is the generating text, I guess. So once all layers have been processed, the input we got an output vector for last token. This is passed through a linear layer plus softmax function. These are some technical things, and then you get some sort of a text out of this. I know this is a bit more technical, but yeah, just wanted to give you an idea about it. Okay, cool. Yeah, now let's talk about bit of some things called prompt engineering and RAG. Okay, so yep, let's and these things will be pretty much simple to understand. Okay, so first of all, let's see what is RAG. Like, how many of you know about what is a RAG? Maybe you have heard somewhere. So have you heard what is a RAG is? Anyone who has heard what is a RAG? Okay, I can't see much examples. Okay, so let's discuss what is a RAG first of all. Okay. So let's see. So RAG means it is a retrieval augmented generation. Okay. And it is very much important thing which is currently used in AI systems. Okay. So you can say that. So what problem actually RAG addresses? Let's understand. And it's a very normal, even the interview question, it can be asked if you are applying for some AI specific role. So basically, like LLMs like GPT are powerful, you know that, but they don't always have the up-to-date or accurate information. So basically, let's say some event which has happened, let's say recently, let's say some event has happened, let's say recently, and you are asking GPT, okay, that like what this event has happened. Okay, let's say India has currently lost the first test match against England. Okay, but the chat GPT doesn't knows about it. Okay, how it doesn't knows about it? Because it is not trained on that particular data. So basically the thing is that it don't have the up to date or accurate information. Okay, because it is trained on the previous data. Okay, and it doesn't have the context what is happening currently or what will happen in the future. Okay, because otherwise the thing is that you have to retrain it again on the recent data, which doesn't happen very much often. It can be like maybe like once a month, twice a month, or like whatever the frequencies, but it's not very much frequent, obviously, right? But the thing is that here what RAG comes. Okay, so basically, what does RAG do? Okay, so RAG solves this by combining two components. Okay, First is retrieval, as the name suggests, retrieval. So basically, it first searches an external knowledge source, okay, like a database or a document store or even a web index, for relevant content based on the user's query. So if you have seen, so in ChatGPT currently they have added a, you can say a section, a option of research. If you can see in ChatGPT, so they have added an option of research in that. Okay, so if you will see there, like you will see that, okay, that if you tell GPT, okay, do a research on something, like I tried, like let's say I give Chat GPT a prompt, okay, that do a research and tell me that what like which of the, let's say, quick commerce players are currently doing well out of, let's say, Zepto, Blinkit, Instamart. Okay, which of them are doing well. So what that research mode will do, okay, it will go to different websites first of all. Okay, the thing is that because see, GPT is not trained on these particular data, okay, that to tell, okay, what sort of you can say e-commerce platform is doing well, what sort of e-commerce platform is doing well. It will go to different sources, okay, and will gather information from them. Okay, and then it will parse all those sources and will generate a report for you. And this is called what RAG is. Okay, so basically it searches an external knowledge source, and then in RAG, I told you, it's retrieval augmented generation, and then it feeds the retrieved content along with the original query into the LLM to generate a response. So instead of relying only on what model remembers, like on what it was trained, okay, it grounds its response in factual or real-time information. Okay, because let's say if India wins the World Cup today, let's say, and tomorrow you are asking Chat GPT, okay, that who won the World Cup. So Chat GPT can give you some vague answers because it is not trained on this particular today's data. So this is where RAG comes. And because now what it will do, it will check, okay, that it doesn't have the information. You know that for this the RAG needs to be activated. It will go to the RAG, ask, okay, that who won the World Cup, provide me some articles, provide me some resources, provide me some contents which I can parse and get the idea. So RAG will go to the recent articles, fetch the articles, feed those responses to the LLM and get the final response. So that's what this, you can say, this RAG solution solves. Okay, so if I give you one example, so let's say user ask, okay, what's the latest return policy at Amazon? Okay. So the thing is that the RAG can, so basically a basic GPT model might give you a generic answer or even worse, maybe like outdated one. But RAG, what we will do, the retrieval system searches internal documents or a web page that contains Amazon most recent return policy and will give you the response. And now the answer is more accurate, more contextual, and more trustworthy. Okay, so that's what RAG is powerful. Like it allows AI to access like some data, okay, without retraining the entire model. Because retraining the model takes some cost, right? Because it can, because these models are not trained on a very small scale of data. It's like a very vast scale of data, and these are not very much cost efficient as well. Okay, these take a lot of cost. Okay, and so I hope you have got the idea like what is RAG. Okay, so maybe you might have tried GPT, and you can see that sometimes it says, okay, searching on the web, something like that. Okay, cool. I guess it is clear to everyone about the RAG. Okay. Okay, now let's come to this thing called prompt engineering. I guess many of you might have heard about this term called prompt engineering. Okay, so obviously, like with the increase of the LLM use, now the engineers are also being hired a lot. Okay, so what these prompt engineers do, like you will just say, okay, that these prompt engineers are just writing some random text and generating some something to feed to the you can say LLM, but that's a very much important role. Okay, why it is an important role? Because you know that a lot of because now in a lot of companies they actually don't you can say train the GPT. What they do is they'll use a open source GPT and provide it a prompt, okay, to get the response basically. Okay, and that prompt is actually very much important to get the response from the GPT. Okay, because if you have written the prompt in a well mannered and a structured way, the GPT will be able to parse it properly and understand the whole context in which you want to generate the prompt. Okay, so that's what is important. So that's what these prompt engineers do. So basically what they do is they actually create a prompt which is like properly well structured, well maintainable. Okay, and it gives the desired results every time. Okay, because there are chances that when you give some info to the, say info to the, you can say GPT, it can give you the response in different ways. But when you're using prompt in a particular service, in a particular you can say in your tool, you wanted to provide a specific response every time, so that uh, because let's say if you're using some prompts in your rule and you're passing it, if you're using some prompts, okay, in your code base, let's say you are depending upon GPT to give you the response, then you parse the result, then you send it back to the your client. So you need to make sure that whatever response you're getting from the GPT is of the exact type in which you are expecting. If the type is incorrect, so it will not get the correct response. So that's what here prompt engineering role will play. It will give you the response in a very much correct way. Okay, because you need to set it in the prompt engineer. The prompt engineer, what they will do, they'll set the prompt in that particular way that okay, that the GPT is always giving the response the correct way. Okay, and why this prompt engineering is important? Because obviously, first of all, you have to optimize the prompts. Okay, you can't go with okay that you are just having a big prompt and every time you are answering that, because GPT has a cost limit to it, because the more bigger prompt you give, the more you can say cost it will take to give you the response, and the more time it will also take to give you the response. So you need to make sure that that whatever prompt you are putting in that is actually very much you can say sort of a optimized. Okay, I know, like, it's not that much very much short that it is not giving the response in the correct manner, and it's not that much very much long that it is giving it is taking too much time to get to give you the response. So that's what prompt engineering that's what engineer do in their particular role. Okay, and yes, there are few strategies as well. Okay, so if I give you one example, so this is known as, I guess it is known as few shots, something like prompt strategy. Okay, so basically the thing is that if you see this particular prompt, I'm giving the prompt basically a example. Okay, that if I tell you that okay, I have given two examples that review. I absolutely love the cinematography and the story. Best film of the year. Sentiment is positive. A review: despite a couple of good scenes, the plot was boring and acting was wooden. I wouldn't recommend it. Negative review: the movie had a fantastic premise but ultimately fell flat in execution, or just okay. So basically you are giving few examples to the prompt. Okay, and then you are asking for the sentiment. So there are two ways to, so first of all is either you give the last line directly to the prompt, okay, and ask for the sentiment. So then it will not give the result in a desired manner. Okay, and now the thing is that you are setting some context in the prompt. Okay, that okay, the first two are the examples, maybe you can add even more examples, and then give you the thing what you want to generate. So in this you are pretty much sure that your model will generate mostly either positive or negative, and it will not give any other response basically. Okay, so maybe we can try this as well in live. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Maybe we can try. Let's go to the chat GPT website. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's try it. Okay. So I'll just share my screen. Oh, sure. Okay, cool. I hope you can see my screen. Okay. So let's see if I put something like, okay, let me get back to this. Okay, let's say if I put this particular thing, let's say what I get. Okay. So if you can see my screen, it is saying, okay, sentiment mixed, lean slightly negative. The reviewer acknowledges a positive aspect, this thing. Okay. So this is if I do a direct prompt, let's say if I send the whole prompt in by giving few examples, let's see what happens then. Let me just refresh this page. Okay, so if you can see, it has given neutral. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say, that here the thing is that this is called actually little bit of prompt engineering, that I just given a basic example of that, but yeah, there's a lot more to learn in the prompt engineering role. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say, that you can think it of like this particular way. Okay, and yeah, let me just share back my screen. Okay, cool, 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 cool. View slideshow. Okay, maybe you can see my screen now. Yep. So yeah, the thing is that yes, there are some of the limitations as well. That yeah, sometimes your model will hallucinate. Okay, that will not give good response. That it will vague. It will have some biases. Okay, it will have some incorrect information. It will have some less information. Okay, it will have some context window limits and all those things. Okay, so these are some sort of a limitations. Okay, and okay, these so there is one very much important thing which I want to talk about, which is called temperature. Okay, so there, whenever you will be using some sort of a API of a particular model, you will see a temperature field over there. In most of the APIs, you will see, and that temperature is responsible for making the output highly random or creative, or maybe more deterministic or more precise. Okay, so if you use a zero temperature, it ranges from 0 to 1. Okay, if you use a zero temperature or closer to zero, you will see a more deterministic output. But if you want to be more on a creative side, let's say for example, let's say if you want to debug a particular code, or if you're asking a particular code from the GPT, you want to be on a more stricter side, so you will use lesser temperature. But let's say if you're writing a poem, if you're writing a story, if you're writing an article, so you can be more creative on that side, right? So you would be using more a higher temperature closer to one. Okay, and yes, the thing is that yeah, I guess that was a bit idea about what AI things are. Okay, what terms are there in the AI. So yes, there are a lot of high demanding roles in AI. Okay, and so basically, like, rather than AI taking dev jobs, it's making AI literate developers more valuable. Okay, so they can deliver faster and guide use AI ethically. Okay, because now the thing is that if you use AI very much effectively, what things you use to deliver it in, let's say, a week, now you can maybe deliver it in, let's say, 2 to 3 days. Okay, with the help of AI, because now a lot of work what you were doing is now being done by AI. Okay, specifically the work which was sort of a monotonous, which was sort of a boring work, which is sort of a work which doesn't involve that much of brain in it. Okay, so that's one thing. And yes, if you are learning AI, you are adding it in your resume, it will actually boost your portfolio a lot. Okay, because these things, because AI is going to stay for a very much long time, because a lot of startups have been opened on AIs, and a lot of research are going on, a lot of data centers are being opened for AIs and all. Okay, so yes, the AI is important. And why now? Uh, because you can say that industry leaders are also agreeing on that. Okay, you can see various podcasts related to AI. You can see various podcasts from Sam Altman as well. Okay, in which he is focusing on AI. You can see, I guess maybe you're knowing about the Perplexity. The founder and the CEO is from India only. I guess he has studied from IIT Madras, and then he went to US, and I guess for master something. And so yes, AI is very much important. And yes, so that, like, basically, there are a lot of ways in which there's a proper roadmap in which you can become an AI engineer. So you need to learn about all those, like prompt engineering, NLP fundamentals, RAGs, which I talked about, multi-agent systems, LLM fine tuning, and all those things. Okay, and yes, you can make a full application on AI. That will be much more a good project. So yes, so this is like what you can say the roadmap of our course would be. Okay, because you know that coding is actually having a course on Gen AI and multi-agent systems. So this will be sort of a course, and you will be building a lot of projects. So if you can see, I guess these are some of the projects you will be building. So like resume to job semantic search, custom multi-agent AI ecosystem, AI powered product insight generator, and all these products are there. Okay, so projects are there. So yes, the thing is that this is the part of the program, and yes, it will be a 6 month program, which I want to tell you. And in this program, you can see in every month what you will be taught. Okay, month one, month two, three, four, five, six, and it will be of 6 months, and the classes will happen on Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So basically, 3 hours of classes on each Saturday and Sunday. And you will have good mentors, you will have good experts for this program. They will guide you and make you like industry ready for the AI ecosystem. And yes, if you want to fill the scholarship and eligibility form for the you can say uh, for this course, I can share you the link. Okay, so please fill out the form if you are interested in this particular course, and you can ask for them scholarships. Okay, what scholarships you can get for this program, and you can even discuss about the roadmaps and everything about the program once you fill the form with the team. And okay, if you think that after discussing everything, if you think the program is good, then you can go ahead. And yes, you can even get a 30K off on the program by using the code mentor 30 once you apply for the program. Okay, so yeah, that's it majorly from the class. Any doubts you have, guys? Any doubts? Any doubts you have, you can put it in the chat. I'll try to answer that. Okay, great. Okay, cool. I guess okay, I guess people have filled the form. Yeah, but yeah, those who don't have not filled, they can go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone for attending this masterclass. Okay, great. See you guys. Bye bye. Take care.
Okay. So yeah, thank you so much, Anubhav, for such an insightful and such an informative session taken. So this will be it, guys, for today's masterclass by Coding Ninjas. Once again, I would want to help you in the overview of what we are actually providing in the program of ours. So this, first of all, this will be a 6 months live program wherein you'll be learning to build real world Gen AI and multi agent apps that you use in Python. Also, you'll be working on 10 plus hands on projects so that you can sharpen and test your skills, what you have learned being the part of this program. Also, we'll be helping you with mentors' feedback for your career guidance, how you can, pave your path in the same domain. Also, being the part of Coding Ninjas, you will be having an access of NSDC job portal. Plus, you'll be the part of an exclusive 10x developers club, so that you can be the part of a great community and get the best out of it for you. And at last, after being the part of this program and completing this, you'll be able to uh, find yourself ideal onto the job roles like Gen AI engineer, prompt engineer, mass developer, and so on. So this is just an overview of the Gen AI and multi-agent apps that we are helping you with in our program. Once again, if you want to know more about it, if you want to deep dive into what we actually are doing on those 6 months, you can fill in the form that has been shared by Anubhav in the chat or in the Q&A box. I'll be sharing it once again. Yeah. So the link is in chat now, guys. Just click on the link, fill in the details, and then you'll be able to get in touch with our counselors. That will be a one-on-one conversation, and you'll be able to clear your doubts. You'll be able to get to know about each and everything about our program. And at the same time, if you find like this is a perfect fit for you, and if you want to be the part of this program, we'll also be helping you to get uh, enrolled while taking the maximum benefits of the scholarships raise. This is it. Uh, I will be waiting for another 1 minute so that you all can fill the form, and then we'll be winding up the session for today.